Hello friends, today I'll be reading The Purple Gorilla, a North American traditional tale. A boy was cycling down a rough lane through the grassy, treeless prairie where he lived when he saw a turn-off that he hadn't noticed before. Being a curious child with a desire for excitement and adventure, he thought that he would take a little detour on his way home and investigate to see where it led. No sooner had the boy circled a little way down the track than the sky began to darken overhead. Heavy black clouds gathered. A storm was coming. As luck would have it, just as the first fat drops of rain began to fall, the boy spotted a house in the distance. He cycled as fast as he could, thinking he would shelter outside on the porch until the storm passed. And as the boy reached the house, boom! The first clap of thunder crashed overhead. He dragged his bike up the steps of the porch and took a moment to catch his breath as the rain came hammering down. When he noticed he had recovered himself, he noticed a sign over the front door in big black letters. It said, "Welcome, come in." That's strange, thought the boy wearily, but his curiosity got the better of him. He tried the door and found it unlocked, so he pushed it open rather nervously, creak, and stepped inside. The boy found himself in an ordinary-looking hallway. A coat and umbrella stand stood in the corner. Pictures and a mirror hung on the walls, and there were several doors leading off, but it was the door directly ahead at the far end of the hall that caught the boy's attention. The door was not wooden like the others, but made of heavy steel, and three big metal bolts were keeping it firmly locked. There was another sign on it, which in big black letters read, "The Purple Gorilla, keep out." That looks dangerous, thought the boy, but his curiosity got the better of him. He crept down the little hallway to the steel door and used both hands to heave back the bolts. Thunk, 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 and push. The heavy metal door opened. Screech! Behind the door, a staircase led downstairs. Now that's just plain creepy, thought the boy with a shoulder shudder. But his curiosity got the better of him. He stepped gingerly onto the first shadowy stair and carefully continued downwards. Squeak, 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 squeak. At the bottom of the stairs was another sturdy metal door. This one was locked with a bulky chain, an enormous padlock. Although the key hung on the wall nearby, another large sign warned, "Turn back now. Yes, this means you." Me, really, thought the boy, but his curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed the key, thrust it into the padlock, and turned it hard. It released with a loud and resounding clunk. The boy pulled the door open, eep, and stepped into a great big room. In the middle of the great big room, there was a great big cage. And in the middle of the great big cage, there was a great big purple gorilla. The great big purple gorilla was sitting on a stool with his both legs crossed and his arms folded, looking awfully fed up. "Do not touch the gorilla," cautioned an enormous sign hanging over the great big cage. "You can feed him, you can talk to him, but whatever you do, do not touch the gorilla. You have been warned." Thought the boy, and his curiosity got the better of him. A heap of bananas lay in the corner of the room. The boy picked one up and held it out between the bars. To his great surprise, the purple gorilla didn't just jump and snatch it. He reached one arm and took it quite lazily. He peeled it precisely and ate it in several dainty mouthfuls, almost as if he was doing it out of politeness. Then, with a heavy sigh, he folded his arms and, still and bored, once more. Well, feeding him wasn't so bad, thought the boy, letting his curiosity get the better of him. Maybe I'll try talking to him. So the purple boy said, "Hello, purple gorilla. You do look down. How long have you been here, and why do they keep you behind all of these locked doors? What would actually happen if I touched you?" The boy didn't really expect the purple gorilla to talk back. Of course, he didn't. He just sat there on his stool with his legs crossed and his arms folded, gazing into the distance as if he couldn't hear a word. Feeling bolder, the boy giggled naughtily and jigged about in front of the cage, pulling a face. But the purple gorilla took no notice at it. "I wonder," the boy murmured to himself. He stepped right up close to the bars and thrust his arm through. The purple gorilla didn't even look at him, so the boy raised himself on tippy toe, pressed himself right against the bars, reached out at absolute full stretch, and his fingertips just touched the gorilla. Quick as the flash, the purple gorilla sprang to his feet with a mighty howl and grabbed the bars of the cage. The boy screamed fit to outburst. The gorilla began to bend the bars apart with all his might. The boy didn't wait to see any more. With his heart pounding, he spun around and raced for the door. "Told you so," mocked a sign over the door frame as he sped through. Squeak, 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 squeak. The boy took the stairs two at a time as he heard from behind an almighty crash. The purple gorilla had broken the cage apart. The boy sped back through the steel door where a sign hanging above it read, "Bet you wish you hadn't touched the gorilla." The boy tore down the hallway, the floor shaking beneath his feet. He glanced over his shoulder to see the purple gorilla striding through the steel door behind him. Thump, 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 thump. By the front door, the boy spotted a sign informing him, "This is your own fault, you know." With the gorilla hot on his heels, he sprang through the front door and across the porch. He grabbed his bicycle and leapt down the stairs, throwing himself astride it and scrabbling frantically for the pedals. It was too late. The boy felt the ground shudder as the purple gorilla charged closer. Terrified, the boy looked round. There was the great big purple gorilla standing right behind him. The gorilla reached out with his great big hand and with his great big fingers and touched the boy lightly on the shoulder. "Tag, you're it," said the gorilla with a grin.